What's up, Ali? Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here on a Saturday morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am great. How are you, Jonathan? Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm glad we could get this done. And something we'll talk about later is living a maybe nomadic lifestyle or a travel lifestyle, which I think for both of us is something that's important. So a little bit of logistic work to get this on the calendar, but that's why I'm that much happier that we were able to make it happen. So all good. Just getting sort of set up on my end before I head back to the U.S. As you get ready to leave the U.S. So we'll talk about that. For those that don't know, real quick, Ali, could you just give an overview on what your business is and what your role in your business is?
Yeah, definitely. Ali Garced or Ali the agent, since no one really can pronounce my last name. I'm Ali the agent on all social media. I am an investor and a real estate agent now. I've been an agent for less than 4 years. I used to be a special agent for the Air Force, which is where I spent a decade active duty. I separated as a major in like 2022. So I went from being a special agent to a real estate agent, hence Ali the agent. I've had the name on like Instagram for a long time.
Love it.
And yeah, so I'm licensed in Tucson, Arizona, and I have a team, informal team of almost like 90 agents right now. And I started investing before I got my real estate license. So investing came first because of the VA loan, very easy to get in, very low cost. And since then, now I have a portfolio of like 9 properties. We're under contract on a 7 unit right now, and plan on getting a little bit more into multifamily. Our portfolio right now is all buy and hold, all long term. We did some, midterm, short term when it was the season. Then we pivoted long term, and plan on continuing to grow slowly, and have a little bit more time where we want to live, aka the beach, and not St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah, we were talking about this before. Just seeing snow on the forecast in spring is not as conducive to maybe being happy as being on a beach when it's March or April. So it sounds like you're on your way to finding that. Cool. And you also have a podcast as well. And I think you also maybe you're humble or maybe you just have a lot going on. I forget sometimes the stuff that I'm doing as well. But you have the podcast and also you help other agents with social media and also like sort of amplify what they're doing. Can you talk about that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I never like mentioning that I have a podcast on someone else's podcast. It sounds like very, so I like purposely don't mention it. But yeah, it's called the Agent Gold Mine, specifically for real estate agents that are already doing business, not really meant for like brand new agents.
Hmm.
At that point, I mean, I could still help you. I would just assign you a team, a local team. But anyway, yeah, that podcast is for agents that are kind of doing around 10 transactions a year, maybe like 100K a year, that want to get to 200. Because I have personally done that. I have the checklist for it. We have the systems, plus my partner Shelby Johnson, who is my teammate at Five Pillars at EXP Realty. She definitely has even more checklists than I do. Like, we
Mm.
have the system set for anybody that wants to grow from 100 to 200K on the sales side. That's not for everybody.
Hmm.
And so yeah, that's called the Agent Goldmine. What was your second question again?
No, you kind of answered both. It was just
All right,
like,
cool.
what are those? So
Yeah.
that's cool. So, like across the different things you do, how do you sort of like focus your time? Is it even across everything? Is one more of a priority? Do you batch it by day? How do you think about it?
Oh man, I feel like I batch it by year. Like I definitely work in seasons, and my seasons end up being maybe it's just because of my annual goals. They end up being
Mm.
year long. So to back it up, like 3 years ago when I first got licensed, my season like I dropped all my investing. I was just focused on how do I make money as a real estate agent now that I'm no longer a major in the Air Force,
Mm.
and do I like it? So I liked it, made double the amount of money that I was making in the military. So that was year one. Year two, I realized that revenue share at EXP paid more than my entire portfolio of rental properties. So I was like, I want to show other people that they can also make money from revenue share. So it was attracting agents. That was year two. Year three, which is this year, I'm going back to my rental portfolio because now we've moved. So even though I sell homes in Tucson, Arizona, I'm selling from afar because I live in Minnesota because my wife's dad is pretty sick. So that's why we moved here. And now that we're in a new location, that the numbers work a little bit better here, in my opinion, compared to Tucson. So I've been focused on my rental portfolio is number one again, as my wife has also retired from the military. She was a pilot, so now it's like a whole new chapter. Like let's take our liquidity now, transfer it to some more passive income, quote unquote passive. No,
Yeah,
in my opinion, nothing's passive. And then let's bounce from the U.S. and let's go somewhere fun and chill.
I love it. You talked about your real estate portfolio a little bit. Could you just maybe give a little more detail on what types it is? Is it short-term rentals? The breakdown? Is it mid-term rentals now, or just traditional units, or a mix of all?
Yeah, yeah. 9 units between my wife and I, mainly single family. They're all long-term rentals right now. A couple of them used to be short-term, a couple of them used to be mid-term back in Tucson, where, during COVID, everyone was traveling or nurses, I guess, were traveling everywhere. But then a couple of years ago, Airbnb took a 50% decline in occupancy. Like, Airbnb in Tucson got hit hard.
Wow.
So luckily, we were able to switch just and still cash flow from turning it to from short term to midterm, midterm to long term. Sold off all the furniture and whatnot. So now everything's long term. Everything has a property manager because I do not like doing that. And like even here in Minnesota, where I currently live, I'm getting a manager. And yeah, so now we're pivoting though to a little bit more multifamily just because of economies of scale, one roof, one big boiler. So that's what we're shifting to.
Gotcha. And you're in Minnesota now. I'd love to hear how you're doing some of this from distance, either growing like the team from distance or growing the portfolio from distance, or like how you're just sort of managing anything digitally that you're like growing at the moment.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I had to learn from a distance was real estate sales, because I had a property manager on my investing side. So I'll start there actually. My very, very first property was just like a condo in Colorado Springs. It's now fully paid off because I used the shred method. And so it's now, I think I might 1031 it into a multifamily. But because I already had a property manager, I didn't really need to be there. Plus, even if I were to physically be there, I don't have a construction background. What am I going to be looking at in these houses? So I'm like, there's no point of me being there. The inspector will get it done. The even if I pay a little bit more with the contractors that the property management has, I'm still asking for quotes, and I'm just going to choose the lowest one. But what I had to learn was real estate sales from afar, and luckily it wasn't that bad of a learning curve because my clients from in real estate sales come to me from YouTube. So I have a YouTube channel living in Tucson, Arizona. And so the clients, I just make videos about what it's like to live in Tucson because I lived there for 7 years. And I know what it's like to PCS there or move there from elsewhere. So I don't have like the native perspective, the local native perspective. So I can talk about the good, bad, and ugly. And boy, do I talk about the ugly, which like makes a lot of locals that see my channel pretty mad. But it invokes a lot of trust with those that are PCSing there that are like, thank you for telling the truth that no other channel talks about. So I meet with my clients over Zoom, and we sign the buyer broker, and then I have a team in Tucson of about like 10 agents. But even if I didn't, there are apps where you can find other agents to physically open the door, like Showami or Showami. I don't know how you pronounce it. Who knows? You could pay somebody like $50 a door, and which isn't bad. So that's what I do. And then so pretty much someone else's boots on ground. I do all the negotiation. I love it. I'm good at it, and we close without me being physically present.
Got it. Do you look at everyone has a different perspective on this? Like, and my answer changes also of like what my active income is then going to use to like fund my passive income. So like you, the way that I'm thinking about it, like outsider looking in, have two really amazing opportunities to grow like passive income, like the rentals, and then also like a team. Like I've never had a team, so I'm not exactly sure how that works, but like outsider looking in, it seems like as that gets bigger, it should keep expanding. But is it like for you? Do you look at it like, okay, if I can, make content and then grow my active side of the business, buying and selling, then I can fund my investments, and then also as I grow my team through content, like is content the flywheel that then you get clients from for active, and then also people find you to like join your team, and then you could use that engine to sort of grow like these passive things in the background, or do you look at it like that, or look at it differently?
100%. Yes, that is how I look at it. That's how I look at my quote unquote passive income from EXP. I don't have necessarily a specific flywheel for my investments, mainly because it's changing. Like right
Hmm.
now, this sevenplex that we're under contract for, we found on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Not Marketplace, some Facebook group. So it was off market. But yeah, YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Facebook and Instagram came first, and it helped me in sales because I was military and I knew my entire sphere was military. They were moving everywhere. So
Mm,
I was very easily able to connect my friends who were PCSing to an agent that actually knew what the VA loan was and how to utilize it for the member wherever they were PCSing to. And then I started YouTube because I felt like I was putting out a lot of different messages, like, hey, I can help you PCS to Montana, DC, and I live in Tucson and I'm moving to St. Paul. It was just like too much.
yeah.
So I figured I would have like one specific channel just for buyers in Tucson to have that going to maybe sell later. At this point, I don't really plan on selling it just yet. But it's something that's always what I'm thinking of, like how can I build something to then sell later? As of right now, still doing well, and I'm still enjoying working with buyers. So I'm going to continue doing that. I work with listings too, but my channel is just for buyers.
Gotcha. That makes sense. What is it like, the inner workings, what you can say of like having a team that you build up and then grows under you? And I guess part of this is also like maybe the value prop for someone listening that's like, I want to also have a team and a downline. Like, I've never had like a deep conversation on like, how the numbers actually look and work, and like, how passive is it versus how much work the downline actually takes for like training and like pouring into them to make sure that like they actually do the things that are going to grow it. Like, how does it work?
Right. No, that's a really good question. So I want to clarify, I don't have a formal team. If I had a formal team, then I would be even more profitable. And the reason I don't is because I personally am against teams. Like I would that's the whole reason I joined Shelby Johnson at EXP. She didn't have a team. She was like, dude, I'll just give you the checklist, just name me as a sponsor. And no one else was doing that. So go
One
ahead.
quick thing, this is
Yeah.
maybe a stupid question, but maybe that means other people have the question. When you're referring to the word team, can you maybe just explain what that even means? Like how that's different than what I was asking?
Okay. Yeah. So how I think of a team in real estate sales or brokerages is the agent joins a formal team. Whether or not that team gives you anything, sometimes they'll say that they give you leads or whatever support, whatever their value prop is, you
Uh-huh.
pay typically 50% of out of every commission you make. 50% goes to the team leader, the office expenses, the brokerage, etc. But just for the opportunity of being on that team, it comes at a very hefty cost, whether it's 50%, whether it's 40%. In my case, I don't have a team because I don't want to take any money out of agents' commissions that they're working hard for.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't promise leads. I will teach you how to find your own leads and you keep your full commission. So a lot of people within real estate that have been in this industry longer than me are telling me that I should just have a team. But I don't know. I try to do things the way that I would want to join. Like from my perspective, if I needed a team to
Hmm.
send me leads, and if I didn't know or ever want to learn how to find my own leads or like work as a business owner, then I don't want that.
Mm.
So, and when if there is like a killer agent that's doing well, they learn from a team, they eventually move on. So I don't want that attrition rate. I want like the value proposition of we will teach you how to hunt and there's no reason for you to leave because you never paid us to begin with.
So true. So there's like, because I see a lot of branded names, and like in concept, I think I understand it, but this is a cool conversation to have just because like now we're picking apart like the real differences. Like there's teams within, gosh, I don't know how I can say this without saying an actual name that maybe you would know, but like the name of a comp. So there's EXP, that's like the parent, and then there's all these teams within EXP that do personal branding. They're run by maybe a person or a group, and then they bring on people to their team that it sounds like then have that sort of comp split on commissions. What you're saying, it's not like under your name company you're branding, but you're helping them, you're training them. They're part of your like you're their sponsor, or maybe you're their sponsor, and then you will just continue training. But the difference is it's not like you're touching their commissions, it's just you're helping them grow, and in return you're going to get something from it, and they might stick with you longer because something isn't being taken from them that other teams typically do.
100%. Yeah, you said that perfectly. So to put some numbers on this as an example, if a commission check is 10K, on a team, if it's a 50-50 split, of course there's going to be some fees and other stuff, but generally speaking, the agent will keep 50%, $5,000, and the agent will pay the other $5,000 toward the team leader for saying thank you for letting me be on this team, which I think is like ridiculous. But again, my own personal opinion. With EXP, we don't provide leads. You know, we will give you all the checklists, all the email templates, all the scripts. Like we have live trainings and recorded, so everything is there. Should you put in the effort? So it like definitely self selects, people out. But with that, they keep their entire commission of it because they're essentially joining EXP. They're not joining any smaller umbrella underneath the bigger umbrella of EXP. So with EXP, it's an 80-20 split. Out of that 20% that they were never going to see, a chunk of that, like 3% of that, would go to me. So I'm working for peanuts right now. I'm trying to think of this like super long term. Like there wouldn't be a reason for people to leave. We give them everything. Yeah.
Got it. And then on like what you're actually doing for people. So, well, I guess before we even go there, how hard is it would you say, to bring people on, like, or maybe like good people? Because I'm sure you could get tons of people, or not tons, you could get people, but then they'll maybe never do anything. So it's not a benefit to anyone. So like, would you say the way that you're doing it, like compelling, like that it brings people to the table that maybe wouldn't because they don't want to give away half their fees? Or is there still a lot more like, convincing and value propping to do, like beyond this? Again, I don't know the details of like what really like moves the needle for people.
Yeah, this is where EXP gets a bad rap because everyone does this differently. So like some people will cold call. I'm not a cold caller. I don't do outreach
Cold call to build their team.
to
You're
build
not
their
cold
team.
calling for
Yes.
listings. You're cold calling for agents and realtors to come, be under you.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Yep. So I don't do that. And that was originally when I first got licensed. I was posting on my Facebook and Instagram with people that already knew me what I was doing. So from there came like some pretty solid agents that were already in the business because we already had that level of trust. But in order to scale, I started a separate YouTube channel, Ali the Agent, just for what I'm like my lessons learned as a real estate agent, teaching others. And from there, one of my biggest lessons learned is, like what it makes sense now, but what you put out comes back, and like what I was putting out at the time was for brand new agents. So is it hard to find solid, experienced agents that like don't need the hand holding? 100%. Yeah. So one of my most quote unquote viral from me and my small little channel of less than 2,000 subscribers is a video that I made like almost 2 years ago now of how to make $100,000 as a part-time agent. All true. It's what I did. I talked about how, I was military and working as a real estate agent, part-time, whatever, made 120K. And from that video, everyone was like, oh, well, I also want to work part-time hours and make 120K, and let me just join you because that's just gonna, rain money. And so every day I think about taking that video down, just to like change the algorithm and be like, this is not what I meant to put. So
Yeah.
now the videos that I put, pretty much again, it's that flywheel of my YouTube channel of talking about how I'm making money and how I'm working from afar, but it's a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
So only reach out to me. I have like a lot of like I try to have people self-select out, like if you have what it takes, like if you have confidence, if you know about real estate already, if you're already stuck at making 100K, then reach out to me. Otherwise, join a local team. Once you're done with that team, then we can talk.
Yeah, I love what you said of just you get back what you put out. So, that's really interesting. I have the video. I'm just looking at your YouTube here, and yeah, that's because I guess when the people come in and they are thinking this is going to be part time and no work, they don't want to do any work and they're not going to be successful. So then it's like you might have to train them a ton, or it might not even be worth training them if they're not going to actually do anything. But I think the model you have is very smart in the sense that like most teams that I'm aware of, like they're I don't maybe there are a lot more now that are becoming more sophisticated and they're providing training and they're like with it in 2025, but I still feel like most of them aren't. Like I would actually say definitely most of them aren't. So I think it's really cool though, like as your flywheel, like your front end sort of like top of the funnel, it's showing value, it seems like, on how you can actually take someone who's already doing well to the next level. And then once you prove that value, then they're like, all right, maybe this is someone I actually want to work with more than just, learning this one specific thing from. Like, there's probably more good stuff associated to Ali with that. And is that how you get like more qualified people or more like advanced people into your kind of like funnel or workflow?
Yeah, it is. The more advanced agents that they currently, for the most part, they're on a team and they're over it. They're always leaving because of well, I don't want to say always, but a lot of them, it's something happened. They're either not the team leader's favorite, or it's always like some sort of cultural thing, that happened. Some sort of which happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like not everything is even, and there are people that favor others and their biases and just all of that. So they're over it. They want to work for themselves and they're ready to like not work for someone else in this business where they already should have been working for themselves only. So in my flow right now from real estate agents with my channel, they either half of them just apply to me directly and just join my organization without us having the initial first call. Those that, yeah. So, and then the other half are usually want that first call. A lot of those that want the first call end up being those that are looking to switch brokerages, not just apply for a brand new brokerage for a first time. So for those, either way, for those that end up having that call with me or just apply directly, I have a system now that helps them. It's an unlisted YouTube series just for my EXP agent community, of what exactly to do. A lot of times when people leave EXP, it's because they felt that like they didn't have the resources, and because we have so much, it's so hard to find it. Like, where do I do this? Where do I do that? So I have this 13 video series, unlisted, private just for my crew, of exactly where to go, how to set up your website. Like, I am spoon feeding it to them. So that way there is no reason for them to be like, I didn't have support. So after they are done with that 13 video and not just watched it, once they've done it, then book a call with me and we're going to start scaling.
That's so smart. I remember when I joined DXP for a minute and I had my license. I remember feeling so overwhelmed and so
Yes.
confused about where to start, what to do, who do I go to with questions, like which login does this go to? So that's really smart that like right off the bat, if you can sort of check that box, it's just a way that like, all right, here's onboarding. It's done, it's easy, and then we can start actually doing strategy once this first box is checked. But I remember it was not straightforward at all. I'm not maybe the most sophisticated person, but like I have real estate. I've been investing in real estate for years, and just like, but it was not simple at all.
It's a lot. It still is.
Yeah.
It still is a lot. Nothing's changed. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why I have like my system of, hey, onboarding, this is what to do. And I have like a welcome email automatic with a bomb already, pre-made, just watch it. This is what to do.
Hmm.
And then if they ever need help, they have a lot of people to reach out to. So luckily, I joined like the right community within EXP. So, Shelby Johnson's my sponsor who had, 75 rentals at some point. So investor first. That's how I originally found her, was on Bigger Pockets.
Mm.
And she had all the checklists. Like what made me reach out to her was she was like, I have the checklist for everything in real estate sales. I was like, done. I want it. How can I buy that from you? Are you going to franchise? Let's do this. She was like, not franchising, but you can just join my EXP. I was like, wow, okay, cool. I guess that's how EXP works. I could just get a hold of someone's systems without having to pay them. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So since then, I've even implemented on that. But literally everyone in our community is still in production, like in our upline, still in production. They all make Icon, which is like the top, the most transactions out of the entire brokerage. They're all investors first. Not everyone was military, but a lot of them are. But they're all just very business mindset and available. That's the number one thing. Is like they're available. You need help. You have a question, just reach out. Just shoot them a text. Set up a call.
Yeah, 100%. Is that just, you made me think of something as you were saying that. Is that also a strategy that people do of like ever recruiting their investor clients to get their license because they also get it? Or is that not something that people ever really do? Like I'm just thinking about, if you're only working with investors and then they're into maybe making passive income also, and maybe they want to avoid fees on their own transactions, like I don't know, could be something, or is that not really like an opportunity?
I haven't seen that. What I have seen is the agent that does have investing knowledge, they end up just like working at a deal with the investor of like, if they use that one agent, they get like a pretty good fee or like a flat fee or something like that. Like, hey, if you do 20 transactions this year, I'll reduce my commission by X amount. So that way it's a win-win for the both of them. That's what I see more often.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's cool. What do you feel like right now is like working as far as, I guess, two buckets on like agency as far as like, finding new team members, and then also for finding new deals, new buyers and sellers. I know those are two huge questions, but if there's any like top of mind favorite tactics or strategies right now that you're finding working for either side.
Yeah. The two that come to mind the most right now are conferences. So I only, don't take this the wrong way, but I only go to conferences that I speak at. I used to go to I was a conference junkie. I just loved going and attending and it was fun and blah blah blah. Now I'm like, okay, this is like adding up to be a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of drinking. So so now I go to just the conferences where I'm speaking, and because that's like, I mean, if you're on stage, you're edified. You can talk about what you're good at, and you can honestly help other people. So I'm going to RubeCon, Real Estate Wealth Builders, next week or 2 weeks. Whenever I come back from Portugal, the very next day is RubeCon. So hopefully I don't fall asleep on the stage, and with the jet lag. But yeah,
Yeah.
conferences and honestly just going back to YouTube and social media, I like that so much because, which by the way, I used to be very camera shy. I used to like not know what to say, fumble over my words.
Hmm.
The more you do it, the more you will get better. So I like it because I can record from anywhere. I can be in the comfort of my own house. I don't have to get beat up from cold calling because I'm a very sensitive creature. I am not made for cold calling. Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially cold calling other agents. Like they will beat you up. So I've never done that. Oh man, I'm too scared. I've heard stories. No, thank you.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's what I do. But really, like, I just, when it comes to like the quote unquote passive income from either one of them,
Hmm.
like when I look at my rental portfolio, I'm making an okay amount. And it's like, whenever I get a call or an email from the property manager, it's never a fun one. It's never checking in and being like, hey, Allie, how are you? It's always like, great, what broke now? But like when I get the calls or texts from agents that are trying, and they're just like, hey, I have two buyers right now. I don't know what to say. It's just like, that's a puzzle for me that I love solving for them
Hmm.
or helping them solve too. But I like that so much more and it pays a lot more. Like my check last month was $6,000. My rental portfolio of 9 properties is not paying me 6K.
Right.
Even with my paid off condo, like it's not paying me 6K. So I feel like, I don't know, it's just like it energizes me. I like business more than toilets.
Yeah, you're not even like the ROI on like that repair that the property manager is calling you with. There's way less upside in it than like helping someone figure out how to land a deal or how to work through like a buyer situation. So I guess just like yeah, the economics behind it make it also a lot more exciting. One random personal like selfish question: how have you found good ways to get speaking gigs at conferences? Any like specifics, or is it just have a good brand, or any like ninja tactics?
Yeah, yeah. Start off by volunteering. Volunteer and just be available. Like try to go above and beyond. Like what can I do? Like if they need chairs set up at a conference room because the tech people didn't do it, like you are the one that's going to bring the chairs. You know, just like be friendly, be a person that like people want to talk to. Of course, I mean that's you. I'm talking to like the audience here. I started volunteering at RubeCon. And I was actually, you know what? I was the very, very first person that ever purchased a ticket for RubeCon specifically. I didn't know that. I was like,
Mm,
I was on my phone scrolling and I saw something about real estate investing and it was in Phoenix. At the time I was living in Tucson. I'm like, that's super close. And usually it's never in like my part of the country.
right.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go. The price isn't bad. I didn't know I was the very, very first one. So I thought that
Wow.
was pretty funny. But
I
yeah,
love that.
overall, volunteer, reach out to the crew, reach out to whoever like organizes it and be like, hey, how can I help? I bought a ticket already, or even if you didn't, just how can I help?
Yeah, it's like one of those sort of marketplace dilemmas or like chicken or the egg things. It's like people need speakers, and also like then the speakers who sometimes are capable are like shy about it, or like so there's sometimes it's like that awkward sort of like dating, at a bar thing, two people that are into each other but don't say anything. But then also I feel like if you don't go about it the right way in the sense of like adding value or being cool about it or trying to go above and beyond, it can come off like, super like promotionally and, like
Definitely.
pitchy. So, but it sounds like if you just lead with like, how can I help? Any, ways that I can pitch in, it's going to sort of like push past any of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, you know what, I should have also added a part two. So part one is helping, just be of assistance. Number two is when you look at the lineup or the speakers, the topics, what's missing? Can you fill it?
Mm,
You know, so like in specifically in this one conference that I keep mentioning, what was missing was military stuff, like VA loan that I can easily talk about. And another one was agent stuff. Like, hey, nobody on here has answered the question of should you be an agent if you want to be an investor?
mhm.
Which, by the way, my answer to that is no. If you want to just invest, invest. Don't
Right.
being a whole agent is something else. But I saw some opportunities that I knew other people had questions for because I had questions about it at one point. So if it's something that you even know halfway about, study up and present it. Be like, hey, I see that I know a lot of people have questions about whether or not they should use their VA loan or what a VA loan even is, or for military. A lot of people in that are attending, I feel like are military. Do you have a speaker for that? I'm more than happy to talk about it. And they're usually
Mm,
like, oh, okay, well, present me something, and of course that's when they're going to do some checks on you, make sure that like your social, this is going to go in the weeds, but make sure that your social media like actually shows that what you're talking about, or just somehow like put yourself in a good light. And just again, if you're just trying to be of service, even if the first time you have to connect them to a different speaker, then sure. Otherwise, you can be like, hey, I just have a small breakout panel in case people have questions. I'm happy to help.
that's so good.
Yeah.
And just not pitchy. That's not anything that someone would feel like turned off by. Like it's very like open. If I can help, cool. That's really good. What is your plans like for 2025 with everything, and then like a subtopic of that specifically around content?
Yeah. So with my rentals, I plan on purchasing this closing from hell. I hopefully will close next week on this 7 unit here in St. Paul. I plan on, I have a pretty good team in Columbus, Ohio, because of someone in my community at EXP who's a CPA by trade. He purchases like 50 properties a year up there. So I plan on investing a little bit more up there. So overall, I'm back in a season of like growing my rentals because I have the system set up for agents for revenue share. That's good. I'm gonna be focused more so on acquiring another multifamily, maybe like 7, 10 units. I plan on 1031ing that paid off condo to something else that will cash flow more. And so yeah, making another maybe 2 or 3 purchases on the rental side in 2025. On the agent side, continuing to better my systems, like kind of seeing where people are falling off track and what can I do to improve that. And for both of them, doing more content overall. Like the content is working, the content is attracting people to EXP. So at this point, I don't know if you like listen to Alex Ramosi, but I think he says it the best, where it's like you could either do like more, better, or what I forget what the third one is. But
Yeah.
like in the beginning, I was in my YouTube, it was crap. When as anybody starting out, it's very very bad. Low quality. How can I find a better editor? So it was just like all about making it better. I feel
Hmm.
like I'm good there. So now I just need to do more. So it's really just like doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the number of videos being posted so that way I can attract more agents, help more agents, which will increase the revenue share and then also buy up more time so I can purchase more rentals and then go somewhere outside of the country and just relax. I need to relax.
It needs to have a beach. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's one thing I will not forget from this conversation. Um, selfish question again on the content side. I'm curious how could you walk through your like content iteration generation strategy? Is it when a client asks you something? Is it something you see from someone else? Do you batch it? Do you do it? When you have inspiration, like how do you think about it? How do you do it?
It's typically the lessons that I learn. So as I realize, oh, I could have done this better, or I kind of messed up here, or I did this well.
Mm,
Or I'm looking at my goals and I see like what I crushed and what I didn't. Like anything from my own personal life is what well, not personal, but like business life is what I share.
come on,
And
no skincare routines. All right.
yeah, so yeah, that's what I share. And I have if you want, I can share my screen too of how I do
Sure.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, cool.
that'd be cool. Also, we drop it on YouTube also. So
Awesome. So let me share screen.
I will say, Allie's our first Riverside podcast guest share or screen share. Wow, this is exactly what I was hoping it would look like. This is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start. So this is Google Excel for those that are not watching. I
Uh-huh.
have I have all of my thoughts that I dump into Google Excel. So I'm gonna start with the tab here called Titles. In the beginning of the year, or really at the end of last year, I just dumped a bunch of different topics that I could talk about with the help of
Mhm.
some chat GPT a little bit
Yep.
into a Google Excel for all 4 of my channels. Living in Tucson, so for clients and for agents, the green is Ali the agent for helping real estate agents. And I just I made a I'm not really following this to a T, as you can tell, but I have a lot of different topics of what I can talk about. Let me drag this over so you can see the Ali the agent better. But like, should you get your license in Minnesota? Three reasons you're not closing. Why I left the military to become a full time real estate agent. How to use your VA loan. Stuff like that. So like helping clients, helping agents. And so once I have all these titles of what I could potentially put for the entire year, all the way down to December for 2025, then it's looking into which my next step is going into TubeBuddy or whatever like keyword SEO because I use YouTube.
Hmm.
Which one has the highest amount of potential views? And which one do I want to talk about? Because like
Hmm.
enthusiasm is everything. So if you're not
For sure.
enthusiastic, no one's gonna listen. So then I'll put it into whatever I'm feeling and whatever gives a high amount. Then I will create like a very, very like bullet point ish script. So for this one here, it's a video that I just recorded 2 days ago. So you think you joined the wrong brokerage. And again, it's like to help people, like if you join a team or if you join the wrong brokerage, this is what to do. First of all, it's like, look at yourself. Like, is there something that you can do? Could you plug in more? Otherwise, switch. And these are some things to do. So it's just like I record, I have this on the background, like on my desktop. And then once it's recorded, I add it to the other tab here, which is called status. And that's where I assign it to a video editor, which would I find mine on onlinejobs.ph for out in the Philippines. And it's color coded per channel. And have I sent it to them yet? Have they done the thumbnails yet? Have I paid them? And that's it. Then I post it online, and yeah, that's my thing.
Awesome. Thank you for showing that. That's really cool. It just sometimes it's like it's similar to how someone's doing it or different. And when it's similar, it's like, all right, I just need to keep doing it. Like I just need to do the work, and there's no maybe magic bullet for this. It's just this is the way. It like come up with ideas, ideate, and then just script and film, and then be consistent. And obviously, you want to use some tools to get different ideas for videos, but in general, it's like consistency and just putting out content that people are asking about, or people are stuck on, or things that you learn about, and that'll resonate with people.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing too is like, it's always best if you think of something as you are working, but I can totally see how like you're working. You don't want to write down a title for something else, like you want to stay focused. So also sometimes what I do is just go on Google and I'll type in like a very, very draft or some like random words and just see what Google fills in for the rest. It like auto populates the rest of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm like,
Good
boom,
tip.
that's a video title.
That's a really good tip because other people are
Yeah.
searching it already. That's really good.
Yep.
All right, Allie, before we get you out of here, I want to talk a little bit about travel and nomading and what your plans are because you are looking to maybe travel more. So just maybe catch us up on what your plans are with travel, like what your hopes and goals are with it, and not being cold and definitely being by a beach.
Yes, I need a beach. I need warm weather. I need the sunshine on my face. I just want to wear a bathing suit all day, every day. And that's it. Hence why I joined Rachel's crew of,
Yes.
of getting into shape. So originally, oh man, I've always wanted to go to Thailand and just like spend at least, if it were up to just me, a year, 2 years at a time, just like totally immersing into the culture, but still having Wi-Fi, of course, because to help agents and all that. I don't want to completely turn my phone off, but I definitely want it to be a little bit more of an option. And I know this is complete like what is it, like self-driven right now, where like I could put my phone down now if I wanted to. I just don't. I
Right.
don't. So I'm forcing myself into a new environment. However, I have pets, so that's what makes it hard. I looked into bringing a dog out into Thailand, and it was because I guess there are so many stray dogs out there. I'm like, okay, maybe Thailand's not. And I have like a weak little Cavalier King Charles. He will be beaten to death. So,
You would have to toughen up to
oh
live in the
man,
streets of
yeah.
Thailand. That would be
And I,
like boot camp. Yeah.
yep, yes, I don't see little Ruben doing that. So I'm like, okay, where can I go that's a little bit more dog friendly that he won't get beat up and bullied? Portugal. So it was actually 2 weeks ago when I was like, Alexa has us like tells us the weather. I don't know why Brit programmed it this way. I'm like, I don't want to hear the weather. That's like the last thing that I want to hear is the weather in Minnesota. So she goes, the forecast tomorrow is going to be snowing. And I was like, Brit, open up flights.google.com. And what is the cheapest flight out of the States? I was like, where can we go? I've had it. I had like a breakdown. And she was like, okay. And I was like, where's the cheapest? Just out of here, out of here. Not Central or South America because I've traveled there enough with my military career. I've done that enough. Where can we go? And she said the cheapest one is like $400 round trip to Porto, Portugal. And I was like, book it. Here's my credit card.
Wow. Just like
And
that.
I was like, book it. I need to get out. I
I
need to
love
get
it.
out. She was like, when are we going to come back? I'm like, whatever is cheapest to come back.
Wow.
Which ended up being 10 days. Yeah. Usually I'm not this impulsive, but after having done enough research and like trying to make Thailand work and Asia work, and we couldn't just because of our dog, I was like, okay, fine, Europe it is. And so our plan is to hopefully fall in love with somewhere that we see in Portugal, so that we could go back and spend 4, 5, 6 months, just like in a different environment. I'm looking for a different environment.
I love that. That's awesome. And then from there, see what you can kind of like work out between the dog, where business is best, family, and just kind of go from there.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Gotcha.
My long-term goal is to spend like 4 months out of the year just somewhere else. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Ali, thank you so much for coming on. I feel like we could still talk about tons of topics, but it is a Saturday morning. You do have stuff to do. You have a closing, which we didn't even talk about. Actually, can you give a quick blurb on that deal, what it is, before your trip that you're trying to wrap up, and then we'll get you out of here.
Yeah, it's a 7 unit apartment building in St. Paul, Minnesota that my wife found on Facebook on a Facebook group for like investors or something like that. And I was like, these numbers look amazing. Let's go see it immediately. So I did what it took to get my offer accepted. Like even though I'm a licensed agent here in Minnesota too, which I don't really do too much with. I reached out to the listing agent. I met her there, and I was like, done. Like these numbers work. Like I am 100% in. And so I offered some non-refundable money, which now I'm regretting in case if we don't close. But it was like small enough to like it was enough to make a difference, but not enough to like truly hurt me.
Yeah.
So and I had her be the represent me as well. So dual agent. She's representing the seller and representing me. I don't recommend this for anybody like brand new. And in the real estate world, from agent to agent, you typically get like a referral. I said, forget my referral. I want you to get the whole thing. Like, I want you to accept my offer. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a 7 unit. The only hiccup that we can have is a slower growth because of some rent control in St. Paul. But even then, there are some ways to work around it where you rehab it to the point where it does warrant the 8% increase. But yeah, we're using a DSCR loan on that and was supposed to close last month and now supposedly closing on Monday, which is why thank you for letting me reschedule and hopefully it'll cash flow.
Epic. Okay. That's really cool. We might have to do a deal, a part two, a deep dive in
Cool.
6 months when that deal is crushing it. Ali, what's the best way for people to get in touch, check you out if they're a broker, agent, realtor listening to this? They're like, hey, I want to go from 100 grand to 200 and I like Ali's vibe. How should I reach out or learn more about her?
Yeah. To learn more about me, I would go on Ali the agent, and Ali is spelled Ali, like Muhammad Ali. And everyone's like, Ali. And as I'm talking to like some other like commercial agents now, they're like, oh, I thought you were a man. I'm like, oh, brother. So Ali the agent on everywhere, on YouTube. To learn more about me, to contact me, Instagram, probably the best way. Ali the agent, Facebook. I'm Ali Garced, Garced. More than happy to chat.
Ali, thank you so much. We'll link all that. I'm making sure I'm following you and connected with you on all those right now. This was awesome. Just like a lot of cool stuff you're doing. And I have a feeling that in 2025, it's just going to all sort of keep going up into the right and amplify a bit. So appreciate you coming on and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Love it. Thanks, Ali. See you later.